negated in that adverse.
Oh, yes, that was beautiful. And I do love Billy's work. He's brilliant. When he does the 12th man stuff. Nic Hayes is with us tonight from our midweek media review from the media stable. And Nick, when we talk about being un-Australian, I can think of some things I can throw at you and see what you think. Your thong's breaking. That's a major event in your life and worth crying about. That's very un-Australian if you don't cry in a situation like that, isn't it? Have you got just the one pair of thongs?
I've got 4 sets, would you believe?
4 sets of thongs.
4 sets of thongs, each in different colours, but no flowers on them. They're very straight out Havianas, 4 sets of.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm very glad. You've manned up with your thongs there. Have you got a black pair for when you go formal?
Oh, that's formal wear, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've got a brown pair for the casual event, and my blue pairs for the beach.
All right, well, let's tick this off. When you have a hamburger with a lot, do you have beetroot in it?
Yes.
Then you're Australian, Nick. Yeah. Do you value your friends as high as your family? And this can include the furry kind.
Oh, look, yeah, friends and family, very, very important to me.
Okay, that's very good. Your favourite sport?
Football.
Any sport is the right answer there. Any sport. We're Australian, Nick.
That's right, it's basketball. It depends what's playing.
Yeah.
What's on the foxtail, Walter?
Exactly. Do you own an esky?
I do.
You're
2 of them.
You're Australian, Nick. Do you have a passport?
I have one, but it's almost out of date. I've got to get a new one.
It's probably full of Bali stamps. You're Australian, Nick.
I've been 3 times to Bali.
You haven't, have you?
I have. I live in Western Australia. Bali's like visiting.
Of course.
Visiting Canberra.
Yes. Just a trip down to Double C Turf. Yeah. You love a pavlova, a lamington, an Anzac biscuit, Vegemite, barbecues, prawns, beer, Tim Tams?
I love them all except for pavlova, because pavlova is actually from New Zealand.
Oh, now you're being pedantic. You're splitting hairs. Even Sam Kekovich would agree with me on that. But anyway, you're Australian, Nick. Do you have an opinion about Chappelle Corby?
Chappelle, yeah. She shouldn't go boogie boarding again. No, not really. When's she due home?
Okay, you got to have an opinion about Chappelle.
I guess I do.
That makes you an Aussie. Do you hate standing in a queue for anything?
I don't stand in a queue for anything.
Exactly.
I don't stand for that.
Exactly. See, this just points out how Australian you are. We drape ourselves, not literally in the Australian flag over our shoulders, but mind you, some people do on Australia Day, and because we're very proud of it. I think, and I love it when I see cars flying flags, the Australian flags. Yeah, it looks a bit cheesy, but at least we're flying and we're being parochial about our own country and we're being proud of it. I think that's a good thing.
Look, no one does parochial and proud of their country like the US does.
Yes.
The most parochial. You know what? I love that about them. And that's what, they're the most passionate ones. I agree with you on that. I love the fact, and when you do fly your flag, you're not being shot at. We're not being shot at in the street. So that's another thing that I'm proud about as far as living and being an Australian. It's the most gorgeous country in the world. And you know what? Even though, the 26th of January sometimes has a little bit of negativity around it for some groups, it's just time. It's just time for us to all unite and just love the fact that we live in the best country in the world.
Exactly. Well, later we'll talk to Professor David Flint about this. He's a well-known monarchist on the topic of un-Australian and all of that, and I'm sure he'll touch on those issues as well. Nick, thanks for having a chat with us.
Good on you, Walter. Talk next week.
We will. We'll catch up same time, same bat channel, midweek media review with Nic Hayes, the MD of the media stable, with us tonight. And just seconds away from the latest news at the top of the hour, after the news, we're going to be talking about the extreme measures that people go to save money. And it will surprise and possibly shock you, the